Hello. Thank you for tuning in to my podcast, I Choose Me. Today, I wanted to talk about the new man in my life. This is so weird for me because I've never really talked about anyone that I've been dating. I kind of like made it after some, previous relationships. I had decided, to keep this personal. But I just thought, with everything going on, and I thought about, I saw people talking about the Sierra prayer, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to share my experience with everyone and see what they think. I talk about relationships in my podcast, I talk about my life. My book, I Choose Me, goes through a journey. And when one of the agents was reading through my book, they said in the end, I want to know what's going on with you now. Like, what's happening? Like, where are you? Like, what are you doing? Someone told me, like, not to reveal more because maybe that would make them, want to pick up a second book, maybe have a sequel to it. But I just wanted to share something with you guys. So I've been dating this person. They have no idea that I'm making this podcast. And the funny thing about it is that I have been so happy lately. I've really just come into my own, and I used to go through things where I felt lonely. So I started praying on the loneliness. I started saying, God, I pray to you and I want you to fulfill my needs and my desires. And, I don't want to be lonely anymore. I want to think that a man is supposed to fill in that gap. I was like, I want you to fill in that gap. And I just kept praying for it. And my loneliness started to go away because I realized that I was getting into some relationships that I didn't want to be in because I was lonely. So then, I'm, dating here and there, not really making a big deal of it. Starting to really feel confident and secure in myself, not thinking about relationships, not wanting any relationships, and so forth. So I had a little situationship, which kind of gave me a mental setback. And it kind of made me so angry that I said a prayer that night. And I'm comparing this to the Sierra prayer. I really have not Googled the Sierra prayer, but I have an idea of what the prayer was like. They said she prayed for her husband, etc. I honestly, for me, I don't know if it's my ego, if it's because I'm a feminist, or what it is. But I don't necessarily believe in praying for a man. I don't, people do their own thing. But I just felt like, there's so many things to ask for God. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I'm not going to pray for a man. I just, that's just my personal thing. So I sit up here and I got so angry from that situationship that I sit up here and I said a prayer, and my prayer went like this. It was, please God, take all these niggas out of my life, God, please. I don't want to deal with no more niggas. Take them all out. Please, dear Heavenly Father. I don't want to deal with no more. I'm done. I just want them out of my life. Just let them leave me alone. I hope I don't offend anyone either by this terminology, but if you're in my community and in my age level, the word is familiar because most of our grandparents and parents pretty much called us that name, and so we use it lightly. But anyhow, so I'm praying, said this to God, pray for me. I don't want to have anything. I'm just done. I'm done. I'm 42 years old. I was ready to turn in my dating card. It's over with. Okay. I've had too many negative experiences. I don't want to have anything else to do with the opposite sex. So I said this, but then the last part of my prayer, I said, now God, if you want me to be with somebody, you can send somebody if you want to send somebody. But I don't want to pick nobody. Only if you send them. And I said, and send me a sign. Let me know this is the person. Because a lot of us, we date guys and we're like, oh, this is the one. How do we know that this is the one? and we don't know. We're going back and forth. We're not paying attention to the red flags, etc. And I noticed on every relationship that didn't work, I noticed that I always had a red flag that I didn't pay attention to. So I said this prayer, right? And I told, I don't want to deal with no men. I'm going on my merry-go-round way. I'm happy. I'm fulfilled. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just, living my best life. So I'm saying this prayer, and then I start to get this person, okay, this man who kind of pursues me or whatever. And he pursues me, and he's very persistent. And I'm so fearful. Like, I don't really say anything. I have give small talk or whatever. Don't give a lot of information because I'm just, I'm like, I don't want to deal with no more men. I don't want to deal with anything, until this guy's talking to me, asking me out or whatever. Okay, so I sit up there and I'm like, let me think about it. I tell him that. So a couple weeks go by. And then again, he's like, can I take you out? Can I do this for you? Da 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 da. And I'm like, all right, fine. I get ready. I was like, I'll go out. So the whole night, I'm like tossing and turning, like, oh, I don't think I'm ready. You know what I mean? I started to realize to myself that things that I thought that I had healed from, I had not healed from them yet. And it's crazy. And it was like was starting to realize that things that happened to me 3 years ago, I hadn't healed from yet. And I was kind of going through this stage because a lot of us women and a lot of people, period, they jump from one relationship to the next. They don't want to go through the motions of really grieving that relationship because it hurts so bad. Being lovesick is like the most terrible disease, the most hurtful, and oh my God, you just feel sick to your stomach. So I didn't want to have that feeling. So I went ahead and I was like, he kept asking, was very persistent. And I was like, okay, I'll let him take me out to dinner. So I sit up there, and the day before, I think we were supposed to go to dinner, I tried to cancel on him. I was like, you know what? I'm not ready. I'm healing. I'm really not trying to date anyone. And he's like, and I was like, I can just be friends. I'm not trying to do anything. He's like, well, can we just still please go? I was looking forward to going out with you. Do you mind? Like, can we still go? So I was like, okay, but I just want you to know, like, nothing's, I'm really at a point in my life. I'm not trying to date. I'm doing good. I'm happy. So I'm trying to convince him, like, look, leave me alone. I'm happy. I don't want to be bothered. So I go ahead, get dressed up because I like to dress up. I like to get, dolled up and get ready to go out. I've been doing a lot of going out, mostly with my friends. You see my page, I dress up and go out. I love, having fun with my friends. So I dressed up, look nice, go out to dinner. And the person, they come to me. They come to where I live at, close to my home, to go out to dinner or whatever. They, made reservations. They asked me where I would like to eat, but then they took the initiative to make the reservations for the restaurant, etc. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I get ready, to go meet him. We go into the restaurant. He's waiting there, and he's waiting there with like 2 dozen roses. And I get roses, of course. I've had 3 dozen roses. I've had roses, whatever, but I've never really had roses like someone wait, on a date or whatever and give them to you. And that can be minuscule for some people, of course. So that was very nice. So I wait and got this big old thing of roses. So I get the roses and I'm, very thankful. And then I sit down and, we begin having conversations. And I found out that this is a very genuine person. And we begin to talk and tell each other about ourselves. I kind of keep it. They tell you to keep, you don't want to reveal too much personal information. So I talked about work. I talked a little bit about my kids. I talked about stuff like that. One thing that intrigued me with him is the way he talked about his mother. That was one thing that stood out to me. He had a previous relationship too, and he had a child But one thing I also noticed about him was that he never said anything negative about um, his child's mother or his past relationship. And I have been on several dates where men, once you start to ask, okay, well, what happened in the previous relationship? Or what about your kid's mother? You get all this negativity coming. You know, they start saying, and you ask them, well, what happened? Oh, I don't know. You know, I don't know. We just stopped agreeing. Then you kind of find out as time progresses why they weren't in a relationship. So I sit up there. We had, we talked about different things, and the babysitter clock was going off. So, I had to make sure that I was paying attention to the time. So, he walked me to the car or whatever. Nice hug, and, we parted ways. He made sure that I got home on time and everything like that. He called me, let me know he got in, told me to call, let him know I got in, etc. So we started dating and seeing each other for the last couple months. And consistency is so important. Some of the things that I like, the one thing that stuck out to me about this man is he was not the usual man that I usually would seek. And when I say that, what I mean is that he would not be that person who stands out in that room where women will be like, oh my God, and he's out there. And I noticed when I started to evaluate some of the men I've chosen in my life that a lot of them had this arrogance about them and this air about them. And I've talked a lot about alpha men and beta men. And if I had to describe him, I probably would say that he was a beta man. And I know that most women are attracted to alpha men, and that's what I usually am attracted to. Those men who command the room, and you know that they're successful, etc. So I sit up there. He wasn't the normal, typical person that I would talk to. He almost seemed a little timid, a little shy as well. But there was a genuineness about him, a realness about him, and a true understanding and empathy that I saw that he possessed, and he cared about me, and he hung on to every word that I said. Anybody who knows me knows I talk all the damn time. I talk too much. I love to talk. Communication is my love language or whatever. So, we would have good communication, and I noticed how he listened to me. I didn't do all the talking. I let him tell me about himself. I asked him questions after questions, trying to discover who he was. Because constantly you hear women tell each other, oh, don't tell him all your stuff. Because if you tell him what happened to you, he's going to do the same thing to you that your ex did to you. So don't reveal that to that person. So it's like you're waiting for 6 months to find out who the person is. And then you see that all this baggage they've come with, So I didn't, we asked questions as we've gotten to know each other, we've revealed a little bit more. So one thing I noticed, he would just, his kindness. And one thing he said to me one time is he said to me that he prayed for me. And when he prayed for me, he said, he asked God, he know that I said at first that I didn't want to date, I didn't want anyone. And he just said he kept praying every night, asking God to change my mind. And when he said that to me, it stuck out to me. And to me, that was the most romantic thing that anybody has ever said to me or did for me, is to pray for me and to like me enough or want me enough to put God into it. I think a lot of times us women, we're attracted to the wrong thing. We might be attracted to a whole lot of money. We might be attracted to looks. We might be attracted to thinking that this person, these materialistic things equate to success, and that these are equivalent to what a good man is. And we see these little flags that's rolling around, like, stop, pay attention, look, you see this red flag, and we completely ignore it because we're looking like, oh, we're lonely, or I just want to be held, or I'm exhausted from the day, or I'm tired of being an independent woman, I'm exhausted, I want some help, I just want somebody to relieve the stress that I'm under. And to me, I already was confident. You know, I've been practicing this self love for a while, and I've been talking about it. And it's a daily process. I have to work on loving myself every single day, especially when you deal with depression and anxiety. So I have to constantly be an active person in my own mental health every day. And a lot of times, I think we as women, we go into these relationships not even loving ourselves, not even feeling good about ourselves. And because we don't feel good about ourselves, we are what we attract. We're not healed yet. So you have two unhealed people coming together to try to form a bond. What do you think is going to happen? It's going to be an explosion, a bomb, basically. Bomb, not bond. Let me say that. So, from the perception and from discussion with him, I never got that this person was an angry person or an unhealed person or they're going through something. I never picked up on that. I definitely did not see any red flags sprouting out or things significant telling me what to look for. Every morning, and most women, you know, you get that good morning text. Good morning, beautiful. How are you doing? Good morning. I didn't even want to hear it. To me, that was like, oh God, I don't even want this good morning, beautiful text. Like, leave me alone. Like, that's a bad, you know, that's a bad thing. That's a flag, because all the men, they say good morning, beautiful. A lot of women, we joke about it, you know, just being nice. But the thing that was different about it was that he constantly put God in it, that he was consistent every day. And one of the words that I thought that really stuck out to me was not, I heard this comedian say this: women don't want to hear WYD anymore. They don't want to hear what you're doing. They want to hear, what do you need? What you need. And the funny thing is, most of us women, most of my peer group, they are successful Black women, alpha women who have everything that their hearts desires. They're homeowners, they're businesswomen. You know, they really financially, they're pulling their weight. They're doing everything on their own. You know what I mean? But to hear someone ask you, what do you need? Is there anything I can do to help? And to pay attention to every little detail that you say. Like, if I maybe say, you know, I'm stressed out today, and oh, I'm sore, I hurt myself, hurt my back, and then you get a gift card to a massage, or you get, you know, someone just taking the time to acknowledge the stress or whatever it is that you went through or what you're going through. It means so much to every woman, and so forth. I'm realizing in life that a lot of the predicaments that I experience, I put myself into those predicaments. I have no one to blame but LaTanya. I do. You know, and I've realized that, and I've had to deal with the consequences of my actions. This is the first time in my life that I actually have taken time and really thought over my practices, my behaviors. And writing this book, I Choose Me, allowed me to analyze myself. I literally stood outside of my body and my mind, and I just evaluated all my course of actions and what I did. And I gave you in the book my good and my bad, my clean and my dirty. Everything that I have, I put it into this book, I Choose Me. It's raw. It's raw, and it's real, and it's everything that you don't want anyone to know, and you don't mind sharing, but it's everything. It's me all in a book. I have seen myself. I actually go back and I read over certain chapters, and I just feel sometimes when I want to be comforted, I read my book. I read the pages of it because it's still in my Google Docs. You know, we haven't published yet. And I just read over it, and it's like a warm hug and a blanket when I read over it. It comforts me because it reminds me where I've been, what I've been through. And, you know, it's just a weird, comforting feeling, you know. And it's just amazing, you know, to sit up here, and after all of this, the writing and everything, and dating, and you know, and going through the motions trying to get the book finished, and waiting to see what's in store for me, and trying to practice to love somebody, to love myself. And then you meet this guy who seems pretty freaking great. And I know it's weird. I would not be sitting up here. Like, I don't even, like, who knows what will happen? Let me tell you. Who knows? And the funny thing is that it's not going to break me. It's not going to break me. It's not going to make me. But he's a good person. And I appreciate that. You know, I appreciate that. He's a good man. He's a good father. He's just a genuine, nice person. And I think the thing people are so scared of, a woman loving theirself. They're so afraid of a black woman loving theirself because they know that it can shift things. It can change things in your life. It might have you evaluate the relationship that you're in right now. It might tell you, I need to move on. I need to get out of here. This is not healthy for me. And that's okay. And picking your kids up out of a situation and saying, this is not healthy for me. And this is not healthy because my children are watching me behave like this. This is not healthy for them. You know, or us behave like this. This is not healthy for them. It's reason enough for you to take action in what you're doing. And that's what I did, you know. And like I said, I don't believe in praying. I pray, let me take that back. I pray, but I don't believe in praying for a man. I don't. And in my book, you'll see so many times where I called on God and Jesus and how he blessed me beyond belief. Like it's unbelievable, the stories I have where it almost felt like an angel was coming into my life and watching over me. But when this person said to me that he prays for everything. He always is praying for this, praying for that. I pray for you, I pray that this is gonna work out. I pray. And I knew, I've never heard that from anyone. To sit up there and I said, and to tell me too that I thank God every day for putting you in my life. I think that's the most romantic thing, the most expensive thing that you ever can wish for as a woman. And it taught me something. I think I told you guys before about my son and how in a post, and I saw him, how he went after this girl, this Muslim girl that he was talking to at school. And the way that he went after her and sought her and learned her, you know, he learned Arabic and he learned, you know, he learned about her culture, learned all of that. I was like, that's what a man is supposed to do that I want for me. I was like, I want a man to do that for me. And I thank God I had a son who's going to do that, who's that type of man that he would do that for another woman. And it said to me, because you think in your life, you said, oh, those type of men don't exist. No, I've dated enough men and they're all this and that. They don't exist. Honey, they do exist. They're there in the moment, but we're not looking at them. We're not paying attention to them. You know, I think every woman can list at least 2 or 3 guys in their life that they passed by and they didn't appreciate when they had them. They were too young or whatever to appreciate them. But seeing someone who's supportive and loving to you, my son was in the hospital, in the ER. He was up late at night. He had some chest pains and so forth, and somebody to just care enough to stay up the entire night with you to make sure you're okay and your child who they've never met is okay. That is something special. Those are the things that you have to pay attention to. Those are the important things that will tell you if this man is for you. When you find yourself a mate, you don't have to push yourself on them. You don't have to go out of your way, cook them. Oh, I want to feed them to death. I want to sex them to death. I want to do all of these things for him to like me. That's not the way to go. When you love yourself, it's like a light shining out that's radiant, and they can see it. It's like glory, and they can see the shine that you're immaculate and that you're worthy. Just because you done filled yourself with so much love and confidence that you radiate. And that's what you have to work on first. The thing that's crazy in our life is we've gotten a women, we got our independence, we're working, we're doing the same thing that men are doing. But one thing we also notice is that a lot of men are not courting us. They're not seeking us. They're not trying to get in a relationship with someone. They have different, ideas on what a relationship is. Men will want you to do everything that involves a relationship, but they don't want to be in a relationship. They're not looking for a relationship. And we sit up here and we go ahead along with it and believe in our mind that we can change them. So we cook all this food, we get these special gifts. And when you're a woman, you think that you're doing it. You think that you're significant and you're original. But it's a lot of women out here doing the exact same thing. A lot of them are doing the exact same thing. Trying to get a man. It's like in a race. They have all these podcasts and stuff. That's why I couldn't pray. So I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to pray for no man. This is stupid. But when a man wants to be with you, you will know it. You will know it because they will acknowledge you. They will tell you up front what their motive is. I asked this man, I said, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And one of the things he said was he wanted to be married. He wanted a family. He wanted that. Now, for me, I don't know, necessarily how fast I'm thinking about something like that is happening. Really, right now, and I'm just focused on my career and I'm just focused on maintaining my happiness. But he told me up front what his intentions are. And I've been in situationships where men have told me up front what their intentions are, and believed in my mind that I could sway them into loving me and falling in love with me and doing these things. And then most of the times I have. But those people have not been healed. Them people they have come with a lot of baggage, and the red flags are everywhere. And I'm just ignoring them because of that loneliness, that hole that you feel like you had, that you got to fill it with a man and not with the Holy Spirit or with yourself, so you got to re-examine it. I want to let a lot of women know, if you're in a relationship or if you're seeking a relationship, what you need to be looking for. What are the signs that you need to be looking for? Somebody who's worried about your well-being, your safety. Most of us, we can get an alarm system. We can buy a gun. Women can buy a gun. But it's that person worried about your safety. Are they putting you in harm's way? Are you on the side of the road where the traffic is, or are you on the protected side on the sidewalk? Does this person, if you say that you're hungry or you need something, or are they ensuring that your needs are met? If you sit up here and you say, you're a single mother, or you're a woman, and you have to cut grass, it's about to be snowing outside, is the person asking you, do you need help? Do you need assistance with getting your snow shoveled? Is he trying to do that? You have things that need to be repaired in the house. Is he trying to do that? Are you in a relationship and you find yourself asking other people, but you have a man for it, and you don't ask him who you're laying with? There's a problem. There's something that's wrong with that. And that might not be the man for you. What I have learned is people do to you what you allow them to do. People will do what you allow them to do. And when you set your standards high and say, okay, this is what I want, then you'll get it. But you have to stick to it. You got to be consistent. This is what I have. Earlier in my podcast, I said before that I took a picture. I was looking at, my pictures I had. And one time I had a situation where a friend of mine, I had called, the person, and I was like, let's cook out some food. Come over here and help cut my grass. Let's cook out. They didn't return my call until later that day. And the person, I ignored it. And then the next day they called and I ignored it. Maybe some people were like, oh, that's petty. But that's what they did to me. They ignored it. And at the end of the day, I said to the person, I was like, what type of woman do you think that, I said to him, I said, do you find me attractive? Do you find me appealing? Do you think other people would do that? And I was looking, while I was talking to him, I was looking at a picture of myself. I was dressed nicely. I was confident. I was thinking about all the things that I've accomplished in my life, all the things that I've been through in my life. And I was looking at this person as if she was there, like not myself, like she was her own person, this woman. And I'm like, what would she allow and what would she not allow? And one of the things she would not allow is a man to ignore her for hours when you asked him to do nothing. But let's come over. I'm lonely. Come on over here. Let's cook on the grill and cut my grass. And he was offended by that. That was too much for him to do. Well, I made it up to him. I was like, so why would you think? And I said to him, I said, so why would you think that you can call me and I would actually answer the phone and talk to you when I asked you for something so minuscule that you could get away with that and nobody else would want to do that for me? And the thing about it is that there's always someone out there who's willing to, those small little things, making sure, just cutting your grass, that are important. And there's always someone out there who will do that for you. There's always someone out there who will care enough to help you or be there for you or console you if you're going through a death in your family or anything. That person does exist. You just have to open your eyes and look. You know, they might not look like the person you thought they were going to look like. They might not talk like the person you thought would talk. But you got to re-examine who you're choosing to be in your life, who you're choosing to be in your circle. You know, you got to, who are you attracted to? And I'm attracted to kindness. I'm attracted to loyalty and respect. That's very important to me. And I'm attracted to people who are healed and happy with themselves. And I just wanted to share this story with you, with my women, and also, you know, with my men, so that you can see if you're the type of man who is looking for someone or seeking a relationship and you're ready to settle down. Because being married, a lot of people say it's a business contract, but being married or being in a relationship definitely has its perks. You have a friend for life. You have a companion. You have someone who's there for you, who cares about you and can share your experiences and comfort you. And if you don't have that with the person you're with, then you need to re-examine that relationship. Okay? I just wanted to turn on and give you guys some words. This was my Sierra prayer that they've been talking about. And I wanted to share what mine was and how my experience happened. And I hope, you know, regardless of what ends up happening with this relationship or whatever, at the end, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be secure. And I know that. And I want us women to all realize that the most attractive thing that you can give a man or see a man is to love yourself. And you are going to radiate. You are going to be unstoppable. You're going to be that visionary. You're going to be that star in the room. And you're going to shine. But the first step is to do that. So I choose me. And I want you to choose you. Thank you.